Hello, friends. Here I am with Pankaj, and Pankaj would like to talk about stylization. As I mentioned it before to my audience, that we will discuss about stylization in fine art, and I would like to know whether stylization is very, very essential in fine art, or it's just a part of our life, and every artist develops style with time, and it is just like a handwriting. You just develop it. So, is it a very, very um, uh, I mean, is it essential in fine art to have a particular style, or it is just like a logo or a branding thing that people would love to go ahead with? Yeah.
Yeah, what you are saying about the stylization.
Mm-hmm.
Stylization is a very large topic.
Mm-hmm.
Now there are many layers to it.
Mm-hmm.
For example, somebody can be very consciously stylized. Somebody is doing his art or his art practice very consciously choosing a style.
Mm-hmm.
And the best example is Jamini Rai.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
he chose after all his studies in academic studies and
Mm-hmm.
stay abroad, came back
Mm-hmm.
to India, and then he chose the folk art technique and their language and stylization, and
Mm-hmm.
he modified it according to Jamni Rai style. It is not exactly Kalighat paintings or pot like. It is
Right.
Jamni Rai inspired by pot painting, and
Mm-hmm.
he chose a certain stylization. Very
Right.
clear.
Right.
So now you can call it kind of a branding. You can call
Mm-hmm.
it is the Jamni Rai brand by just looking at his style by
Mm-hmm.
stylization. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
saying good or bad. I'm just describing it the way it
Mm-hmm.
is.
Right.
The other thing is some artists are maybe very conscious
Mm-hmm.
because once they become famous,
Mm-hmm.
so they get some kind of pressures
Mm-hmm.
from galleries. A
Mm-hmm.
certain kind of work may get more recognition, and
Mm-hmm.
they come under pressure to continue with that kind of a language or stylization,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is a very unfortunate thing.
Mm-hmm.
Artists should never get bogged down by
Mm-hmm.
outside pressures.
Mm-hmm.
So
True.
that is a compromisation. You are compromising there with your
Right.
integrity.
Right.
Thing is, stylization become a stylization by looking at the work. Certain kind of stylization is one of the best example is like, for example, Ram Kinkar or Van Gogh.
Mm-hmm.
Their work also has a certain stylization. You can see
Right.
Van Gogh's work is a very strong stylization,
Yeah.
but that is a reflection of a personality,
Mm-hmm.
and that is something unique, and I think something very much organic.
Mm-hmm.
So there are differences. Ram Kinkar became, his method of working was a reflection of his personality,
Mm-hmm.
his beliefs, his way of expressing himself, whether he is talking to somebody or whether his work or his painting or sculpture, all has certain similar elements.
Mm-hmm.
The very expressionist way, expressing yourself very powerfully, whether when do you are he's doing sculpture, so whether
Mm-hmm.
he has the tools or he's using hands or nails,
Mm-hmm.
he's trying to come to bring out that form,
Mm-hmm.
structure.
Mm-hmm.
So that his approach of creating work of art and his method and his personality created a certain style, but
Mm-hmm.
that was not a conscious style. That was
Mm-hmm.
his personality reflecting in his work,
So you
and
would
that
like
is,
to say, if
yeah,
the artist is unconsciously following a certain path and he has already developed a style on his unconscious level of his mind, that artist will not produce any kind of art which looks like a photocopy of each other. I mean, many of the artists who are stylized and their work look like a photocopy of each other, but when the artist is on his journey, he has developed a style, and that style will never look like a photocopy of each other. Because there are certain artists, when I go to their exhibition, maybe one time I love their work, but next time I won't like to go because there's nothing new in it. There's nothing new
yeah,
in it. So it's there should be
that that
something new for the
that that
audience.
that that is the kind of a production.
Yeah.
What you are seeing is a kind of a production.
Yeah.
He is become a celebrity. He
Mm-hmm.
is getting a lot of offers.
Yeah.
important exhibition,
Right.
and lot of thing is at stake.
Mm-hmm.
It is not only style. These kind of pressures are not only limited to style.
Mm-hmm.
There are many factors. Even
Mm-hmm.
certain kind of work you are doing,
Mm-hmm.
certain kind of thing I am doing, thinking in terms of where I want to reach. They all things, it's a very complex thing. It is just not limited to style.
Right.
Certain
Right.
what kind of art I am doing, what kind of a audience I'm going to address, what kind of issues I take up. So these are many issues related to it. At the end of the day, I think it is the integrity of an artist
So,
which matters.
do you think there is a difference between becoming a star and an actor? Like, there could be many actors who never had any big name, and they may be a theater actor or anywhere, and then they're fabulous actor. But star is very different. Like Shah Rukh Khan or Amitabh Bachchan, they are stars. So in fine arts also, few artists become stars all of a sudden, and these are I mean, just like Rajesh Khanna had a particular style, or Devanand was highly stylized actor. I mean, this artist also would like to walk in their path or something like that.
That is an interesting question. There are what are your aims and objective?
Hmm.
Some artists or film stars you mentioned, they
Hmm.
go to film
Hmm.
with their aim is to become a star,
Star,
and there is
exactly.
nothing wrong. There is nothing wrong in it. Whether
Hmm.
it is Akshay Kumar and today Salman Khan,
Yeah.
big names, and
Hmm.
I have no problem with that. It's
No, no.
every
Yeah.
artist has his own journey, and
Right.
he or she has his own aims and objective.
Right.
So now, but it is not necessary that you are a star. That doesn't mean that you are not a good actor.
Hmm.
There are some like earlier Dilip Kumar was a great actor and he was a
Right.
great big star.
Right.
So I mean, it is. I don't think in terms of star versus actor. Basically, what is what you are looking for?
Hmm.
Like and if same with the artist, if the
Hmm.
artist, some artists are very famous, big watercolor, highly skilled watercolor, very academic, big demand, they are
Hmm.
selling it. What is the problem? As long as you are honest with yourself, I don't see
Right.
there is any problem, because that is
Right.
his or her journey. So
Right.
I don't see any conflict with in commercial cinema or parallel cinema or quality cinema. And it all depends. Basically, what happens is, I think it all depends on the quality of audience. Now if you
Right.
see this gap is more in India,
Hmm.
whereas society and the art and artist and film, there is a big gap.
Hmm.
But this gap you will not find in Europe and in other American or other European countries, where the
Hmm.
society is also very developed. So
Hmm.
they have developed the taste. So in Europe,
Participation,
in
that is,
America,
in fine arts mainly we don't find any participation, like in
exactly.
other acting sector or dance or music. I think a panwala can talk about it, but when art comes to the as a subject, people run away. And once my brother said that, don't call me in a exhibition, rather call me for a drink or something, will be fine with me, because that's a place. Yeah. Yeah, he bluntly told me, I can't come to your exhibition because I'll look like a fool, and he's an engineer. He says that, see, we know 1 plus 1 is 2, and 1 plus 1 is 5, so our equation will never match. So we live in fantasy.
But I think that is one of the unfortunate side is because in our education, right from the
Mhm,
beginning, in
mhm,
India in
mhm.
general, because whole education is for the survival. Our
Yeah, but
education system
then again we have a huge time period, like almost 600 or more than 600 years, when India was not independent at all, and whereas
yeah,
Europe was flourishing. So that is
that is
one
what
of
I
the
say.
major reason why, art was not, though we said that, Mughal period art was not, fine arts, they have that what Akbari, what they said that one
Mughal
gharana came
paintings
out.
and all.
Yeah, one or two gharanas came out, but in unfortunately the whole scenario of visual art suffered. We have to agree
Yeah,
it suffered, and
yeah,
that is one of the
yeah,
reason why mass is just unaware of our visual art, and they're scared.
yeah,
And it is, I
yeah,
think, our duty. This kind of videos are done only for one reason, that we reach out more people, make them understand that art is not a Greek, it's not that difficult.
yeah, yeah. I think what you are doing is, and also many people are doing it through this thing. The awareness is increasing. Earlier,
Exactly.
this option was not there.
Hmm.
This internet or this facility was not there.
Right.
So the most of the education, the students were dependent on the small villages and town, only on the school.
Hmm.
This now this will make a paradigm shift. This
Correct.
technology is
Correct.
making a paradigm shift, and I think in India also it's going to happen, because each now almost 80%, I would say, whether it is village or city, children have the accessibility of this. And
Hmm.
if they have an interest, they can go there and they can find it. So now the time is changing,
Hmm.
and this is a changing in a big way, in multiple way. And I think
Hmm.
this, so whichever things we have lacked in our education,
Right.
this our technology is giving it a
New
alternative
new
of that,
opportunity,
and it
new
is a big,
opportunity. Yeah.
it is a big plus. So we cannot
Hmm.
only depend on the formal education. This is
Right.
one of the greatest education platform now.
Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. And we were talking about the stylization, and you live in Shantiniketan, and Tagore is one of the highly stylized and branded artists I can talk about. Uh, where you place him, like how you think that his stylization and his walk and the whole life is so much so, people like me, we always like, oh my god, it's Tagore. So
Yeah,
so yeah, yeah, he was also stylized. Ultimately he was stylized. So what do you think about his
stylized, of
style?
course, because his whole thing started off from there. His
Right.
whole journey started from the his writings and the doodles and the rhythm,
Hmm.
basically rhythm, formation, and motives. And
Hmm.
then it's went into inside his personality, and consciously and consciously he's doing certain things.
I think Tagore
And
became stylized even before he became conscious about what the style is,
yeah, yeah,
because he
yeah,
started
yeah,
writing
yeah,
poetry when he was very kid, and
yeah,
all the poetry till he lived all his life have a typical stylization. You can make it out. It's
yeah,
Tagore's. It
yeah.
is Tagore's. So
So yeah, that was his all, I would say, his background, his jamidari background, and
yeah.
his education, and his personality, all
Hmm.
is part of that. And then he reached this very iconic stage where
Hmm.
it becomes difficult for him to make a shift in his writing, or something drastically different.
I don't
So
think
maybe
he
he
ever
found.
thought about it. I don't think he ever thought about it, because Tagore was very bold. He could have done it,
Yeah,
but he actually it was natural, as I we discussed about it. If the stylization comes naturally, there is no question of breaking it up. And
yeah, yeah,
and
that
like, if
yeah,
I talk
it's
about,
organic. It's an organic thing,
Mhm, mhm.
it's an organic thing. And stylization, it is basically a reflection of a personality. For
Right.
example, if you see Braque and Picasso,
Yeah.
you know
Yeah, they were very
both
close.
Picasso, they were very close. They were part of the Cubist movement.
Right.
But Braque was kind of an academician. He
Mhm.
remained loyal to his Cubist theory, and he whole life worked as a research scholar, painter, and
Yes.
he kept on working in one language. Where
Yes.
Picasso's personality was multi-dimensional,
Right.
more explosive. So
Mhm.
he did one style, he is another thing, is another
Yes.
exploring. It's
Yes.
like a multi-dimensional. But
Mhm.
in each of his kind of his stylization, you can call it a kind of work or different language,
Mhm.
Picasso's stamp was very strong.
Yes.
Just by looking at
Yes.
something, whether
Yes.
they are
From blue
inspired by
period to pink.
African sculpture or
Yes.
whatever,
Mhm.
Picasso was there. So
Always
that
there.
is the most important thing in art, is that
Mhm.
your you don't have to sign it. It's your
Right,
expression, it's your
right.
idea which is there, and
But
that
but
is that is
but what about David Hockney? Hockney drastically changed all his life, and when people were like putting him as a father of pop art, he again came back to landscapes, and he was just changing his all his life. He was very challenging person.
Hockney recently, after many years staying in America, came back to Britain
Hmm.
and went back to his village, and he
Hmm.
did a series of landscape painting
Landscapes,
again on the
exactly,
spot,
exactly.
and which was recently shown at the in
he
the
he
London
he is
Royal
unstoppable
Academy.
artist, I find.
No, he is one artist. You know, you can take a name like genuinely passionate about his art, and
Exactly.
he is always learning, and
Yeah.
he is so humble. He
Hmm.
is so humble, he is so honest, and he can come back to basics, and he can go back to do elaborate work, whether it is a theater design or whether it is mural painting
Yeah,
or
yeah.
elaborate painting, and
Anything.
he goes back and forth. You can
Hmm.
see he will come back to simple sketches and
Right,
drawings, and that
right.
is what I love about him. No,
And
he
that's
is
what
not.
I believe every artist should have in his journey. It cannot be a stagnant in the 21st century. A stagnant artist is dead. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
find any interest in a stagnant artist. The
No,
artist should
that
explore.
is exactly, that is the living art. Hockney is example of
Living
living
art.
artist.
Exactly.
He is always, as a human being, finding new ideas, new expressions, and he's trying to experiment, whether it is in digital art, photography, drawing, sketches, portrait. You know, people say in contemporary art, oh, you cannot do outdoor landscape painting. It is, outdated thing. He was talking about like Hockney, but he
No,
didn't care.
Hockney
He
was
went back
never
to outdoor painting, and he
Hockney
did
was never
something
scared. He was never
that
scared
is
that you
what
go out of his boundary and you are not Hockney again. But here
that
in
is what.
India, artists even don't want to go here and there because, oh, I do this, so I can't go there. I just
Yeah.
have to make a replica of my own series and thing like that happen.
And that is why there is a difference between Hockney and so many other artists.
True.
Once you watch him, it doesn't
Yeah.
take much time. You can see the person is so genuine,
Mm-hmm.
and he is so talented, and
Right.
he has such a beautiful sense of visualization. That is
Mm-hmm.
his genius. Not
Mm-hmm.
everybody has that quality of visualization. Now,
True.
everybody sometimes wants to become a visual artist,
Right.
but there is something called natural talent.
Right.
So sometimes not everybody has got that natural talent. So
True.
they, try to do other things.
Right.
So Hawking is so naturally talented that
Right.
his visual sensibility works so strong, and
Mm-hmm.
he then that balances with his experimentation, his new approach, his freshness of his, he's so fresh. He's fresh like
Right.
a child.
Right.
When he talks, he's, where there is a film, he made a series of documentaries on about European film paintings, and
Mm-hmm.
each painting he's describing how artists use technology. So
Mm-hmm.
his take is so unique, and his take is not like a historian. He's understanding things from the artist perspective. So
Right.
that is what makes him very different.
Right.
He is a legend.
You met him?
I met him in England, just briefly.
Okay.
So,
Few of the fortunates.
yes, one of the favorites. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So we've been talking about stylization of art and talking about Tego, talking about David Hockney. What about you? How you place yourself
About
as a
me,
stylist? Yeah. Your how I saw your sculptures like always growing up. Yeah, I find that is very, very.
so exactly, these are the things. I grew up in an arts college environment in
Mhm,
India,
mhm,
and I was most natural. I think arts colleges are one of the most exciting thing because people are experimenting, working with material and visual image.
Mhm.
So right from the beginning, somehow I was very allergic to people when in arts colleges people talk about technique.
Mhm.
For example, in sculpture, there
Mhm.
are in India there is a they make a division between stone carvers,
Mhm.
sculptors, and stone
Stone
carvers.
covers.
I, I used to find it is very strange. Why you brand stone carvers? Stone is a medium, and I
Yeah.
argue that all the time those stone carving sculptors used to talk, how they carve, how is the chisel sound, and katai, pitai, matai, whatever they use so many language.
Yeah.
I used to find very, it's like your friends like, I don't want to be there. I want to go somewhere else. So same in art, in India, like printmakers also,
Right.
they don't see as a work of art. They will go near the print and they say, okay, this is aqua tint or etching or what it is. So
Mhm.
they get stuck into this technique. So whether
Mhm.
it is a technique or style, this is not important for me.
Mhm.
And one of the best example is when I saw, a person like Somnath Hor, he started his sculptures. He was not trained sculptor, but he passionately developed to do something in sculpture with just folded wax plates,
Mhm.
and then he felt the need to understand the metal casting technique to complement his work, to bring
Mhm.
out the best quality work. Then he
Mhm.
learned the technique,
Mhm.
not just technique for technique's sake, and that is the right way.
Right.
When I do, and I do, because in sculpture you are not limited, so I'm not limited. I love to
No,
use
sculpture is
material,
more about understanding space. I mean,
understanding space,
yeah.
form, shape, structure, all these
Right.
things.
Right.
So I never felt I am a stone carver or modeler or this thing. I just love making objects and shapes and forms, and it can be endless. And that is what, if you see my terracotta works to my even whenever I got the opportunity of stone carving or steel sculpture, or
Mhm.
I love to explore the like shadow of a plane. This was an
Mhm.
installation. So
Mhm.
I don't believe, and I don't like to be boxed down in some style or some box. No, this is what I. That is not.
Right.
I keep on wondering. I don't want
Right.
to be categorized in any way. It is
Mhm.
my body of work, and people
Right.
will decide who want to decide. But I keep on and just
Just sail and enjoy
that
your
is
journey.
that is sorry.
You just sail and enjoy your journey. That's it.
I enjoy my journey. I love world art. I love past art. I love present art. I love high tech technology, cutting edge technology art. There should be something which touches you. That
Right.
is important.
Absolutely.
Not just
Absolutely.
it is a contemporary art, or it is a postmodern art, or it is a traditional art. Not because of any reason I have to like it. It just
Right.
has to, touch me. And
Right.
that is why, I just love back and forth. There's
Right.
no, I mean, all our visual works all have, if you see the past art, you see the African, British Museum in America. I mean, this is a journey of art. Art language has so many possibilities. So any visual artist should go through this thing.
And
And
you.
then each of us, where you connect, you
Mhm.
take its inspiration from there. And
Right.
that is why I tell students also,
Right.
it is not necessary that you have to only see what is going on today's time, and media is hyping that.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
unfortunately sometimes they make themselves limited to that.
Mhm.
You have to open up. You must see
And
everything.
you are yourself is a professor and a faculty in Vishwabharati Shantiniketan. So as you see, you have seen many batches coming out, and many of them have really become established artists also. Uh, how many of these artists, as if you scan up, like they develop their style abruptly even before they could pass out, and their style today has become a quite a established one and sellable one, and they really didn't have any journey. I mean, you don't have to mention names. I mean, there could be many artists coming out that
I mean,
way.
I mean
And
that I don't have to tell you. that you also know is some passed out artist, sculpture, I mean sculpture or painter or
Mhm.
any artist or
Mhm.
certain type of art, their painting or stylization has clicked,
Mhm.
and then they become prisoner of that style.
And one of the unfortunate thing that, when I go to Shantiniketan, I find many are Jogenda Gharana. If I say, I don't know whether it's wrong or right. I mean, it could be way. I mean, lots of artists following Jogenda style and lots of artists KG style. Do you really personally think that it's Shantiniketan's backing up this thing, or the artists are just to encash themselves they're doing this?
I think, I mean, sometime very celebrated or famous artists, they get, student get influenced by them. That
Mm-hmm.
is not something unusual. But I
Mm-hmm.
would say in Kalabhavan Shantiniketan now,
Mm-hmm.
the spectrum is wide open. If you see students' work, if you go there, it is not limited to one or two artists. It is because the other reason is, as you know,
Mm-hmm.
earlier the accessibility was limited.
Mm-hmm.
Now with this technology, they
Right,
have the
right, right,
accessibility of,
right.
always keep in mind. So there is a difference, especially I would say in sculpture.
Mm-hmm.
Earlier sculpture were mostly students who those pass out of Shantiniketan
Mm-hmm.
were highly influenced by Ramkinkar style,
Right,
the
right,
structure and the
right.
texture and all that
Mm-hmm.
stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But now I would say I'm teaching in the department of sculpture for last 25 years, almost 25 years, more than just completed that. So in culture department, we have encouraged students to find their own language. We
Mm-hmm.
give them exposure, all kind of artists, their work, its exposure. And I must say, I'm happy to say, in sculpture there are variety of students doing variety of kind of, whether highly figurative, highly realistic, to
Mm-hmm.
just installation and non-figurative and different material. So I would say sculpture department, if you come sometime and have a look,
Mm-hmm.
uh, it is doing lot of experiment and
Okay.
multi kind of, and I think the main thing is, what is as a teacher is important is that you have to look. You don't have to be imposing on them. You
Mm-hmm.
always have to look at the student from their perspective,
Right.
rather not like a giant. You give a very big gyan.
Right.
So the
Right.
teaching is also changed. I don't
Mm-hmm.
consider myself like professor or I know everything.
Mm-hmm.
I just consider that perhaps I am little more experienced than them. I have more
Mm-hmm.
exposure, so I can share my experience with them. And I
Mm-hmm.
always give them according to each student's personality and
Mm-hmm.
kind of work he's doing, he or she's doing. So first
Right.
I have to understand that, and then
Mm-hmm.
he give him certain leads. You can
Mm-hmm.
cover these areas, explore
Mm-hmm.
these areas. Not
Mm-hmm.
not a prescription. I don't give
Right.
prescription of formula.
Right.
Let them find. I let
Mm-hmm.
them explore, and then
Mm-hmm.
we can discuss what they have
Okay.
found, whether there is some good qualities, there is something area to improve. That dialogue should come there.
Right, right, right. Anyways, it was absolutely fabulous talking to you, Pankajda, and I believe my audience would really love to hear your voice, and looking forward for many more such kind of talk sessions. And all the
I
best to
think
you.
I think you are doing a wonderful job. And as I said, in India, it is highly needed. There is a big gap between the society and the art and the visual art and other forms of art. So all
Mhm.
the best for you this venture.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay.